with us, so I'm gonna, as we open the meeting, I'm gonna ask the Cub Scout or Boy Scout Troop Pack 83 to come up and help us lead the pledge. So with that, we'll start the meeting of the Newman City Council Redevelopment Agency regular meeting of January 25, 2011. Please stand for the pledge. And Pack 83, if you would, please. Okay. All right, form a line, fellas. We'll do it on your cue. Who wants to start it? All right, okay. Go ahead. Flag's right there.
Ready, salute.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you, fellas.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good job, fellas. Good job. Thank you so much. And Don, would you mind doing the invocation, please?
Father, we just thank you for this opportunity to be together tonight. We just ask that you'll give us all wisdom as we go about the city business, and that you'll give us wisdom as we go through our daily lives. And we ask this all in your precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Please be seated. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Davis, Hutchins,
Here.
Candia,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Martina,
Present.
Mayor Kate.
Present. Item 5, declaration of conflicts of interest. Seeing none, go to item 6, ceremonial matters. Seeing none, we'll go to item 7, items from the public, non-agenda item. Any member of the public wish to address the council, now is the time to do it. Please step to the podium, state your name. Seeing none, we'll go to item 8, consent calendar. Item A is waive all readings of ordinances and resolutions set by title. B is approval of the warrants. C is approval of the minutes of the January 11, 2011 regular meeting. D is review of city investment policies. E, adopt resolution number 2010 next to number declaring certain personal property, surplus property, and authorizing disposal and sale thereof. And approval of water rate study ad hoc committee. It would be item F. Under E, is it 2010, 2011, Michael?
It'd be 2011, yes.
Okay. So make a correction noted on item E in consent calendar is adopt resolution number 2011 next in number. Council direction.
Move to adopt the consent calendar.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. Item 9 is public hearing. We don't have any public hearings this evening, so we'll go to item 10 is regular business. A is adopt resolution number 2011 next in number approving the City of Newman supervision and regulation of the Newman wastewater treatment plant effluent storage basins and emergency action and notification plan EAP and minimum requirements for maintenance and inspection. Garner.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, council members. The item for you tonight, as you stated, is the approval of the City of Newman supervision and regulation of the Newman's wastewater treatment plant effluent storage basins, emergency action and notification plan, and minimum requirements for maintenance and inspection thereon. The city owns and operates 2 effluent storage basins at the wastewater treatment plant containing approximately 675 acre-feet of treated wastewater. This wastewater is used for growing our crops at our ranch, and those crops are then sold for a profit on the ranch. As a result of the California Water Code regulations, it requires that Regulation 602.6025.6 requires all dams or above-ground structures of this nature meet certain requirements for the operation and maintenance and standards, as well as have a plan to protect public health and safety. The city has the option of declaring the responsibility for the supervision and regulation and maintenance of these basins. Absent such a formal declaration, the state of California then imposes their regulations, and then they assess all fees due, as well as additional costs to assess the structure, even require additional improvements, and after the fact, it could be added to the basins. That cost alone is estimated at $40,000 in upfront cost just for them to look at that. In addition, it could require additional construction. One would be different type of angular rock on the inside of the basin, which is just to keep erosion out. Some of those costs are estimated upwards of $200,000. In addition to that, there's an annual inspection fee of about $5,000 that they impose on that if they were to take over that type of operation. In consultation with our engineer, Stantec, the city is elected to supervise the design, construction, operation, enlargement, and replacement removal of these effluent storage basins. This action requires the city to adopt and keep current an emergency action and notification plan. The cost for our consultant to oversee and perform these annual inspections and certifications is estimated at $2,000 annually. The city has employed the services of Mr. Joseph DiGiorgio with Stantec Engineering, and we have received a letter from them, which is attached to your staff report, stating that the basins have been constructed and operated to standards adequate to protect life and property. We have worked with Mr. DiGiorgio to develop the emergency action and notification plan and the minimum requirements for the maintenance and inspections of such basins. The cost for this is $2,000, as I stated. The funds would come out of the sewer fund, which is an enterprise fund. Therefore, it's staff recommendation that the City Council adopt a resolution approving the supervision and regulation of the Newman wastewater treatment plant and effluent storage basins, and emergency action notification plan, and minimum requirements for maintenance and inspection. In addition, attached to your staff report is the emergency action and notification plan for your review. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them for you.
Any questions, Garner? Seeing no questions, council direction?
I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution number 2011, next number, approving the City of Newman supervision and regulation of the Newman wastewater treatment plant, effluent storage basins, and emergency action and notification plan, EAP, and minimum requirements for maintenance and inspection.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Garner. Thank you. We'll go to item 11. Item from District 5, Stanislaus County Supervisor Jim D. Martini.
Good evening, Mayor Caton, council members. Well, you guys really move your meeting along. That's one thing I like about Newman. You don't waste any time. Well, since I have so much time, I thought I'd talk for a couple hours tonight.
You got 3 minutes. I mean,
Okay, I only have two things. First of all, our healthcare
Take your time,
task
Jim, you got
force-
all night.
The West Side Healthcare Task Force will meet here Thursday at 6 o'clock right here in the council chambers. Packets have been sent out, and there should be a reminder. It either went out today, or it's going to go out in the morning. Last night, I gave out the last award in Patterson for the our essay contest was last night. So I've been to 5 different schools now and gave out some of the awards. 2 schools in Gustine, 1 here in Newman, and then 2 in Patterson. There's a private school and then the public school. So we were pretty well received. We gave out probably thousands of calendars and gave out all the awards. So it was good to have all the school districts and the 2 private schools that are within this area all participate in either the drawing or the essay contest or both. So at our next meeting, we're going to be going over OSHPOD data, which is statistical data of why people go to the hospital, and we're going to try and review that to really kind of get back on the track of what we can really do to improve things here in this area. Also, the city of Patterson is going to give us preliminary program for exercise, hikes and bikes, and they're even going to add some kayak trips this year. So there'll be exercise programs and stuff throughout the year. Walk for Your Life and our weight loss, Biggest Loser weight loss contest. But we're going to go over more of the statistical stuff this time to see just if we can analyze why people go to the hospital and why they can't be treated here. Okay, so anyway, that's for that. The only thing I'd mention is the West Park project, which I mentioned the last time I was here. There is a little bit of movement on that now. We had nothing, absolutely nothing had been done in 2 years. And we were told in September that something was going to be presented. By January, absolutely nothing had been done. So now it's scheduled for a board hearing on March 8th, where the project is supposed to be presented and the questions answered. There's a lot of unanswered questions about this project, about the feasibility of it, the size of it, the financing of it, the Port of Oakland. There's a long list, the amount of jobs that it's going to create, and just what the project actually is. So anyway, I'm glad to tell you that at least something will be presented to us on March 8th. What it is, I don't know, but it's something. But this will be the first that anything's been brought before the board in over 2 years. So I would say that, either the project, there's either something to it, and if there isn't, then we should start over again with the new RFP and see what else is out there. The time will tell. Okay, that's all I have tonight.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. Okay, we'll go to item 12, items from the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. First, I'd like to welcome Pack 83 of the Cub Scouts. It's good to see these young men coming here and enjoying the city council meeting. You picked a good night. It's not going to be too long for you guys. And so, there's a lot of jobs out there, and city government is always a good way to go. So think about it when you decide your careers. Before you tonight, we also passed out a list of the city council assignments for 2011 and 2012. We welcome your comments on that. Mike's worked really hard. Mike Myers worked really hard in putting that thing together, and we made a lot of phone calls, making sure we got the appropriate times and locations and all of those things. So hopefully this will at least give you a good idea of what you signed yourself up for. And so with that, if you have any questions or if you have any corrections that you would like, please feel free to contact Mike, and he'll make sure that gets done. We as your staff and also Ecologic, which is now currently Stantec, we've been working to try to get some new orders out of the Regional Water Quality Control Board with respect to our wastewater treatment plant. And unfortunately, we've been working on it for a year. I wrote the letter over a year ago, and we still haven't really gotten any results. So we just recently sent a request to the board to meet with Ken Landau, and I think maybe the mayor might be familiar with him. He was in Galgiani's office at one time when we drug them in there, and their tune kind of changed when we got in there. So hopefully we can get it. We're trying to get a meeting scheduled for Sacramento. We may need to have at least the mayor and another council member come with us, and you see a little bit of pressure on there, but we'll keep you guys in contact of where that's at. We're trying to do good things. We're trying to be proactive with our approach towards our wastewater treatment plant, and we're not getting any response out of them. So hopefully things will work its way through. We have a very short meeting tonight, as you can see, but at our next meeting, which would be February 8th, we'll have the development agreement with SCM, the modification amendments that we've talked about. Our property purchase for the wastewater treatment plant is nearing completion. We anticipate closing escrow in the month of February, so at your meeting we'll have a formal letter of acceptance that you'll approve and allow me to send once we get ready to close that escrow. And we'll do our mid-year budget at that time, and that'll be on February 8th. So, and then tonight, the first installment, it's become a new tradition here that at the beginning of the year, all of our departments will go over the previous calendar year and all the accomplishments and goals that we had for the year and go over those things. So tonight, our new police chief, Randy Richardson, will be doing an overview of 2010 within his police department. So with that, I'll turn it over to Randy.
Your record stands.
Evening, Mayor, council members. Got it to work. All right, tonight we're doing the 2010 annual report to the public. It's kind of our year in review. This is my first one, so I'm going to go through it, and you guys are going to be amazed by all the accomplishments we made, right?
Is it going to be riveting?
I'm not quite riveting status yet. Got a couple more years to go before I get to that point. Got the right name, but not the right person. Presentation overview. We're going to have a department overview, our year in review, some statistics, comparison of 2009 to 2010, show you how much money we saved for you, and the goals for 2011, and future issues that we see facing our department. All right, we're a department that's 24/7 full-time service delivery. We have 16 and a half paid positions, 3.5 professional staff, 1 community service officer, 2 police records clerks, and 1, he's really a whole person, but he gets paid part-time for an evidence clerk. We have 2 sworn reserves and 6 citizen volunteers. We do have 13 paid police officers positions, 1 chief, 1 lieutenant, 2 corporals, 8 officers, and we've had 1 vacant spot since May of 2010. If you guys have any questions, feel free to stop me at any point throughout here. We don't have to wait till the end. That way you don't lose your spot. Our budget for this fiscal year, I think it says 10, 11, would be that because it's halfway through as where we started, was $1,868,076. 80% of that is non-discretionary, was personnel costs. We did reduce the budget this year in July of discretionary reduction of $15,659. We have 11 department vehicles, 7 marked patrol vehicles, 1 CSO truck, 1 volunteer car, and 2 unmarked vehicles. Some of our accomplishments for 2010 was obviously the reorganization was one of the biggest ones, was adding the lieutenant and the corporal's positions, which I think allowed some of the statistics you'll see here in a minute to do what we thought they would do with this new reorganization. We did complete our emergency operations plan. Our local hazard mitigation plan was completed and is at FEMA for review right now. Could take years for them to approve all of them, but they all go in as a big group. Our franchise towing agreement was completed. Our 2 animal clinics were completed. We now have our own animal shelter and doing all of our own animal control out of the city of Newman, so we don't contract with any other, the county or the city of Gustine any longer. We are now on Pet Finder, so if any of you are looking to adopt an animal or you've lost an animal, check Pet Finder and see if there's something out there that fits you. We are on Facebook. That's how we do our weekly updates on there, and you can see what's going on in the police department and any news that's newsworthy. We update it as often as possible. We did start the CAP Juvenile Diversion Program with his partnership with the high school, bringing troubled youth in, with maybe getting in trouble at school, truancies and things like that. We partner together and they get community service. They'll have to come down after school and clean up the city. We did purchase a vehicle that you guys allowed us to purchase. Thank you very much. That Dodge Charger is nice. Our Tickets for Tots program that we ran in November through December was a huge success. We raised we're able to gather a lot of toys and food and stuff for needy families over the Christmas season. We are now paperless in our report writing system, so they write reports, the reports are approved on the computer, and now they're even sent to the district attorney for filing on the computer. So we are completely paperless in the front office, other than a few minor forms that DOJ doesn't allow us to go paperless with. We did make the budget reductions, as you guys saw previously. We cut a little bit of our budget, and one of the most important ones is there is the memorial plaque was unveiled in December, just before the end of 2010, and I think it turned out great, and it was a great event. Some of the stuff that I believe was maintained in 2010 that was brought to us from a few chiefs prior and Adam McGill previous to that, our morale is up and has stayed up even in these tough economic times. Recruitment and retention, I mean, we have that spot open, but it hasn't really been an issue for us. We're not struggling. People aren't wanting to leave. We did have one go back to his old job, but we understood that that was a possibility, but they're not looking to leave anymore, and it's not hard to replace them in these times. Professionalism has improved. Productivity is up. It has improved quite a bit. Our visibility out in the public, I believe, is up. Our image is enhanced. Our partnerships with other agencies has improved, and risk management has improved. Now we'll get into some of the numbers. Here's a comparison from 2009 to 2010. Police incidents, everything we do is tracked through NSYNC. There's some of these numbers might be a little off. If an officer went out on a foot patrol and didn't mark it into NSYNC, it wouldn't get an incident. So some of the numbers could be higher, but this is what was tracked in our computer system. You can see from 2009 we had 6,700 incidents, and that went up to 9,400 incidents, a 20% increase from 2009 to 2010. the cases that we were writing.
Chief, just real quick, on please, and that's due to proactivity.
Correct.
More than, not necessarily that calls for service have gone up, but it's more because officers have more self-initiated incidents.
Yeah, I was gonna. If you look here, the cases written is 1,650 to 1,550. So the actual cases that we're taking is down, but what we're doing more now. By the next number is one of some of the public probably won't like too much, but traffic citations issued 891, and this year we wrote 1,394. It was up 56% and that's just having with the restructuring is having more people on the streets, and it's not that more people are speeding, more people are doing it. We have more officers on the street now, with actually less officers, but they're out there more doing more things. Parking citations are up 18%. Vehicles towed from 158 to 206, up 30%. And arrests from 653 to 672, up to almost 3%. So here's the crime stats basically broken down is Part 1 crimes. These are all Part 1 crimes right here. And you can see for the total, we had 480, and in 2010 we had 382. That's a 20%, almost 21% drop in crime of Part 1 crime. So you can go across the board and see robberies went up by 100%, but you're talking 3 to 6. I mean, it wasn't like 1 to 2 basically. It's not like a huge amount. I mean, 1 is too many, but it's not a huge number. But overall, the minus 21%, that's, unheard of, I think, these days. So we'll move on. These are Part 2 crimes. These are all the Part 2 crimes that would fall in the categories forgery, fraud, embezzlement, things like that. From 204 to 191. So those also went down by 6%. There are some spikes from 6 to 7. Things like that, but we're right in the ballpark with everything. These were the categories that fall in Part 2 that are arrestable. So total Part 2 arrest 990 to 1080. And a lot of these could be, like you'll see, I don't know if total arrests are on here, but that's not exactly how many people were arrested. That's how many offenses they were arrested for. So you could have somebody driving on a suspended license who had a DUI, who had a gun in the car, who had drugs in the car, and that's 4 separate offenses. So these are the total number of offenses that were charged. Any questions? This is the revenue generated by animal control, admin citations. We were projected at 65,875 for the fiscal year of 2010-11, and we've already collected 88,486 so far. That's mid-year for the budget time.
And Chief, when do we lose the administrative sites?
We lose them July 1st. So January 30th is the last day to write them. These were some of the goals that were presented to you last year by Chief Adam McGill. His top one was to reduce overall crime, and overall we did that, if you added both those categories, by 16.23%. I contacted Gustine Police Department and Patterson. Patterson hasn't got back to me yet, but Gustine Police Department, they had a drop of overall crime of 4.43%, but their Part 1 crimes, which are your major crimes, went up by 3.83. So I think, even the 4-mile separation there, you can see what our guys are doing compared to what other agencies are doing in our area. He had the goal of completing the remaining 2009 goals. We did that. I went back through all the goals and checked, and there wasn't that many that we had left undone. There's only the local hazard mitigation plan, and it was sent off. Maintain current staffing level. We didn't complete that one. We kept that position open, obviously for budget reasons. So continue efficiency improvements. I believe we did that with our paperless and our new restructuring of our command staff. I think it's way more efficient. Local hazard mitigation plan update, that's at FEMA. And our narcotics certificates for canines, we had to table because we just didn't have the manpower to send them off to the amount of training that they would need. They would be training 16 hours a month for their regular work and regular canine, and then another 16 hours a month for narcotics. And we just, with the staffing levels we have, we just can't have them do that. So here's my 2011 goals. Reduce overall crime. I'm going to see if we can take that number even lower. Purchase 2 vehicles. That'll be grant assisted for the USDA grant that we have and we're waiting on. Continue some cost saving efforts. Look and see what we can do to help out. Community outreach programs. We want to bring in back the barbecues that were here years ago, probably 7-8 years ago. Now was the last time we had one. You're going to see more of those coming up over the spring and summertime, where we're getting out there and shaking hands and letting everybody know who we are and have a little barbecue for them. The building, keep working on our building. You guys, if you've ever been in there or you want to come see what we're working with, we have some stuff that needs improvements. Our phone system's failing. We're going to be looking at see what we can do to improve that. Animal shelter improvements, another area where we need to spend a little money and have some improvements. Animal service training, now that we are completely away from animal control of Gustine and that, we need to make sure that our animal control person's up to date with how to give shots and things like that as they come into the shelter. And then we want to also put in place a master training plan for all our officers. Get them headed down the right path, get them in their unique niches that they want to have, and so we'll have people specifically trained in many different areas instead of just one area. So we're going to work on a master training plan for the next 3 to 5 years. And building for the future, these are some of the issues that we've seen that could be improved in the next 3 to 5 years. We would definitely like to see staffing increase if the population increases. Have a supervisor on duty at all times, have 2 officers on duty at all times, and increase officer safety. The budget, we're going to need to look at training, capital repair and replacement. We need our equipment. We are getting some outdated equipment there, computers and things that are going to need to be replaced. Vehicles, as we're already seeing, that need to be replaced. Mobile computers, they have a shelf life of any other computer and they'll need to be replaced. Desktops, we're on a 4-year program. And our phone system has seemed to be our newest hiccup at the police department. It shuts off sometimes. So if you call the police department and nobody answers and it's after hours and you don't get a voicemail, it's probably because there's something wrong with their phone system. The facility has sufficient square footage, but the building is poorly designed and it's like a maze walking through there. So we'd have to think of some improvement plans. And then succession planning. I think I'm probably key to that. I think I'm here because of somebody else had this vision before me, and I want to continue this vision on to building our troops up so they stay here and hopefully retire here. So that's all I have for tonight. I will be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions of the Chief?
Yeah, I just had, Randy, your volunteer reserve officer program, how is that? I don't know if you covered that in your report. I was just wondering how many actually are involved in that program now?
We have 6 citizen volunteers currently, and we have 2 reserves.
Okay. And they probably help you considerably, I mean, at
The
times.
citizen volunteers do help us considerably. The reserves, they help out, but they have to ride with the officers, so it's not like we're putting them on the street. We are looking at getting level 1 reserves that will be able to handle the streets, be able to fill in for when an officer calls in sick or something to that effect. But right now they're riding with officers. But the volunteers, they do a great job. Our CAP program, the diversion program I talked about, they pretty much run the diversion program once the kids are assigned community service. We rely on our volunteers to come down and Mr. Reed and people like that to give them the community service to watch them.
Yeah. The only other comment I'd have, I think the thing that's really reduced the crime is your presence on the street. It's just like I look at Hills Ferry, and I drive on it every night, and I see people come into town, and they kind of really slow down. So what I'm saying is, I think you really have gotten their attention, and of course, I think that goes across, Newman, as far as all areas. But I thank you for your report, and I thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
Just one quick comment. I was not on the news tonight. They were saying that there was a 40% increase in officers killed this past year. So I think some of the stuff that you have planned for the future is, even though we're in quote-unquote Newman, a lot of the places it's happening now are places that it's never happened before. So look forward to seeing that.
I agree with you completely.
Great. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Good job. Next staff. Lou, anything? Garner, nothing? Stephanie? Wow. Okay, items, go to item 13, items from council members. Don?
Well, first of all, I'd just like to thank the city for allowing me to go to the new mayors and councils conference last week. It was excellent. There was a lot of great information, some which I will be disseminating over the next month or so once I start putting it together. Also, while there, we had the opportunity to personally speak to Governor Brown and voiced our displeasure, not only in the big group, which many of you may have seen on TV, but we were actually able to meet with him personally. And probably didn't change his mind, but we definitely let him know, what we thought about it, and the enterprise zones also. I also spoke with Senator Cannella, and he is definitely going to not vote for the RDA. He does not want the RDA changed. He wants it left the way it is. So those two I was able to actually speak to while I was up at the conference, so that was good. And I don't know if you guys got it in an email or not, but there's going to be a proposal from the governor on February the 3rd and February the 7th in Sacramento, and they're asking as many city officials as can to attend. And if Mike would like to, he can make a copy of this and disseminate it to everybody, or somebody
This
can.
one came from Stephen Qualls?
Yes, it came from Stephen Qualls.
Yeah, what that is their budget hearing.
Budget hearings.
Right.
So,
But other than that, that's about all I have.
Great, thanks. Nick?
Nothing tonight.
Bob?
Just a comment. It does my heart good to see the Boy Scouts here tonight. I think it's good that you young men get out and see how how we conduct the business here. And of course, you're kind of like a group that you don't hear too much about, but you're really important. And I just can't say enough things about the Cub Scouts and what you leaders are doing for these young men, and the things that they'll be doing. They'll remember the rest of their life, the fact that they were in Cub Scouts. And so thank you very much for coming, and thank you for being here.
Well, I'll kind of deal with that. I went to their meeting last week and got to spend time with these young men and let them ask me a lot of questions, and they hopefully learn a little bit about city government and what goes on, and so it was fun. And I'll just go ahead and plug February 5 is their Blue and Gold dinner. So I think everybody got an invitation, so that's a fun event to attend. However, my wife has put the reins on my spending this year. So I'll see if I can sneak some.
bake some good cakes, guys.
That's a fun event, and it's a good dinner, and then they have the auction on all the cakes and cupcakes and things, and it's a fun event. It's fun. So,
Jessica.
yes. And Shannon Raposa is in the back. She's just indicating if anybody she has extra invitations. So I'm sure our police chief and a lot of people would like to have some of those. It's fun.
Yeah. Bring lots of money.
Thank you so much. And the only thing I have is I received an email today from Stan Cog staff. We currently have a position available on the Citizens Advisory Group on the committee, and each city is represented with a member. So they're asking if anybody has an interest, and they wanted me to just to check with any member of our public. So if anybody has a interest in serving on the StanCog Citizens Advisory Committee, contact either myself or City Hall and leave your name and address. They meet once a month, and it's the first Wednesday at 6 o'clock at the StanCog office in Modesto. And as a Citizen Advisory Committee, you sit as a committee and from representatives all over the county as citizens, listen to transportation proposals, which involves our community. Obviously, any existing and future roads that are planned, transportation routes, any projects that are being currently considered. The Citizens Advisory Committee has input, and they make recommendations to the policy board, which I'm a member of. So if any member of the public would like to serve on this committee, either contact myself or City Hall, and they'll get your information to me. And they'd like to have someone from Newman sit on that committee. So, and it's an important committee. So hopefully, if somebody's interested, we'll hear from you soon. Okay. With that, we'll adjourn for the evening. We're done. Good night.
Record's safe. Your record's intact, Bob.
It's intact.
That's okay. Thanks to the chief.